The road to success is a difficult one. If it were easy, everyone would be successful. But obviously, that is not the case. Unfortunately, although we won't be eager to admit it, many times we are the architects of our own failure. And this is due to a series of negative actions that have become our habits and which ultimately prevent us from achieving our set objectives. We are all guilty of falling into this trap at some point. And so, to help you out, in this video, we'll be taking you through 10 of these habits that prevent you from achieving your dreams. Number 10. Poor organization skills. No one is likely to achieve much with a lack of organizational skills. They are absolutely critical, as most of what we do at work relies on our ability to maximize our administrative resources. Poor organization skills will result in missed deadlines, mismanagement of expenses, arriving late at meetings, and a host of other shortcomings. Personally, a lack of organizational ability implies that you'll get to do much less within a period of time. If you fail to plan your time properly and prioritize adequately, not only would you be unproductive, but you're also likely to fail more often. Your time management skills can be boosted by using calendar apps that help you schedule your activities while setting reminders for them. This way, you can stay abreast of all your high-priority activities and give them adequate attention. Number 9. Failing to go that extra mile. We all enjoy staying within our comfort zones and in our safe spaces. But many times, you need to go that extra mile to get things done. Failing to do this is often the dividing line between highly productive people and people who keep turning in mediocre results. A simple rule to bear in mind is that if you want to achieve more, then you should be willing to do more. If you want to stand out from your peers and be a leader in your field, then you must be willing to get out of your comfort zone and go to lengths that others won't be willing to go, because it's not palatable for them. Going a step further shows that you are not only open to experiencing growth, but you are also keen on challenging and developing yourself. And by getting out of your comfort zone, you're putting yourself in the position to acquire new skills, expand your scope, and develop critical leadership abilities. So instead of sitting behind the desk and using the phrase, "Well, that's not in my job description," if you really want to develop yourself and get results, be ready to do things outside your job tasks to aid the success of your team or organization. Number 8. Setting unrealistic life goals. We know the popular mantras, "dream big" or "your dream should keep you awake at night" and the likes. Yes, we get it, but we would also add, "dream realistically." It's not enough to set targets for yourself. In fact, that's about the easiest thing to do. Anyone can come up with a list of long-term and short-term goals. But apart from putting these dreams down on paper and giving it all you've got, you also need to be sure that you have set realistic targets for yourself. For instance, there's nothing enthralling about telling yourself you want to become a billionaire. Who doesn't? The question is, how? How do you intend to achieve that feat? What's the outlined plan you have mapped out to achieve this? Is the plan feasible? These are vital questions you need to ask yourself. Also, be realistic with your plans. If you have a long-term project in mind, then break down your execution strategy into smaller, easily measured milestones. Planning for huge, long-term budgets could be daunting. And many times, people give up simply because they fail to see how the projects can be completed. Oftentimes, this is because rather than breaking the project down into smaller portions, they attempt to take on many aspects of the task at once. In the end, they burn out, achieve nothing, and give up. That's another thing you need to be wary of. Number 7. Dreaming only about the outcome. It's easy to get lost in the dreams of what lies at the end of the road. Granted, this could always be a motivation to keep you going, but it could also be a distraction. Getting hung up with what lies at the end can make you lose focus on what's right in front of you. And guess what? What's right in front of you at the moment is more important than what lies ahead. That's because you can't get to the end if you don't get through what's before you. Besides, focusing on the now helps you to live in the moment and enjoy it too. Never forget that chasing your life's dreams is a magnificent journey of its own, one that should be enjoyed every step of the way. Interestingly, the journey itself is often the most fulfilling part of achieving your goals. So you don't want to miss out on it. You'll need the presence of mind to take one step at a time on your way to the top. Number 6. You're stuck in the past. One of life's most valuable lessons is that the past is in the past. It's done and gone, and there's nothing you can do about it. Knowing this, focusing too much on your past could be counterproductive. Now, there are two ways to look at this. On one hand, looking back at your past could provide the motivation you need to forge ahead in the future. On the other hand, depending on your experiences of the past, it could demotivate you. If this is what happens to you when you look back, then just quit doing this. Instead, focus on the things you can change, the things that lie ahead. Look out for the wins you are making right now. They will eventually form a portion of your past and could serve as a source of motivation for you. That said, having a success-filled past could also come with its downsides too. If you're not careful, you could tend to rely on the glory of the past, and falling into this trap could affect your future. So, some balance is needed here, and that is shown in staying grounded and not getting fixated on your past. Number 5. Cultivating negative thoughts. Nothing grows where negative energy thrives, and negative thoughts are a guaranteed source of negative energy which is sure to hold you back. The way you think about yourself ultimately affects how you act. If you harbor fearful thoughts about your life's pursuits, you're not likely to achieve them. That's because that fear will cloud your vision and hamper your actions. So you want to steer clear of every negative thought around you, and you also want to nip it in the butt before it festers. This could imply changing your environment, changing your acquaintances, especially if you are around toxic people, or changing the things you watch and listen to. They might seem like tiny adjustments to make, but they are pretty powerful changes that can completely change your fortunes for good. Number 4. Doing the same things over and over. If you find yourself stuck in a rut with no signs of progress in your endeavors, it could be happening because you have refused to be innovative and you're now stuck. You cannot keep doing the same things again and again and expect a different outcome. If you fail at doing something, then you need to learn from it, make adjustments, and try again. That's exactly how things work. As you continue, you will eventually master all that needs to be learned to succeed. Besides, life's journey will demand that you constantly adapt the changes around you as you pursue your dreams in life. So if you are stuck in a rut, take a moment to sit back and reflect. Ask yourself, can I do this differently to get the result I want? The solution to being stuck could just be a fresh idea on how to carry out your plans. Number 3. You don't act on your plans. Like we said earlier, it's easy to put down your goals on a sheet of paper and even write out an action plan. The hard work is in following through with definite action. It's also easy to get that feel-good sensation while listening to tips and tricks on how you can be successful. But in the end, if you don't roll up your sleeves and get to work, all you're ever going to enjoy will be that sensation of feeling good. Quit poring over tips and tactics. Instead, get to work. Direct your inspiration and drive into specific activities. That's how you can actually achieve great things. Be ready to put in the hard work. The reward is from the effort you put in. Number 2. You are a perfectionist. To achieve certain things in life, a high level of devotion and attention to detail is required, coupled with intelligence and hard work. However, there's a limit to this. Some people take things a bit too far and become perfectionists. These kinds of people attempt to live out an idealist fantasy. They'll hardly forge ahead until they get certain things spot on. While it might seem like an admirable trait, this is one of the reasons many people fail to realize their dreams. For some, they are still waiting for that right moment to start their business. Some others are waiting for the perfect job offer to kickstart their career. In reality, there's never a perfect time to do anything. The stars hardly ever align the way we want them to. As such, we cannot afford to take a perfectionist approach in our pursuit of things. Instead, we choose to get things going regardless. Like some would say, we make our own fortune. Or in some other words, fortune favors the brave. So yes, things may not be ideal, but you should start out nonetheless. Take that job, start that business, speak to that client. Just take a step and take your chances. You never know that will happen until you do. And whatever happens, it's always better than doing nothing. Number 1. You avoid failure. Okay, this can be a bit misleading, so let's put some context to it. You know how some people never try new things because they are afraid of failure? That's exactly what we mean. If you often avoid challenging situations because you are afraid of failing at them, then you're holding yourself back. The fear of failure is not a good thing, and it arises from a wrong perception of it. Here's the truth. Failure is a natural part of life. You won't find a single person on the planet who has never stalled at something. In fact, if you speak to people who are specialists in their fields, you are almost certain to find out that most of them have experienced failure at various times in the past. The way you perceive this is vital. You shouldn't allow it to deter you. Instead, understand that failure is a learning curve for you. When you fail at something, you gain invaluable experience nonetheless. That experience helps you to avoid the same mistakes in the future. If you can embrace this perspective, you'll lose the fear of it and position yourself for outstanding future success. And with that, we've come to the end of our video. We trust you learned a thing or two. Thank you for watching till the end. See you in our next video.